You have never known light, only darkness. A deep, permanent darkness that was there when you took your first breath and has been there every moment since. Your world is made of sounds, the shuffle of sandals on dust, the murmur of voices at the city gate, the distant bleat of a sheep. Your world is made of smells, hot bread, unwashed bodies, the dry scent of the earth. Your world is made of touch, the rough texture of your beggar's cloak, the cool weight of a coin dropped into your hand, the heat of the sun on your upturned face. This is your life, invisible, a burden. To your neighbors, your condition is a curse, a sign of some hidden sin. You feel their stares you cannot see. You hear their whispers. And in the quiet, you dream. You dream of shapes, of colors, of your mother's face. But you wake to the same endless night until the day the whispers change. They speak of a man from Galilee, a teacher, a healer. They say his name is Jesus, and a hope you dare not name begins to stir in the dark. Then you hear it, a new set of footsteps stopping in front of you. A silence. And you know, somehow you know, he's looking right at you. The rumors are standing an arm's length away, and you have no idea that the very first thing your eyes will ever see will be his face. You wait at the gate, not by choice, but by necessity. Your spot is the same each day, the stones worn smooth by your sitting. The coins that land in your cup are few, and their weight is the measure of your survival. You have memorized the footfalls of those who pass, the hurried step of the merchant, the heavy tread of the Roman soldier, the hesitant shuffle of the pitying. You are a fixture of this place, part of the landscape of need. And in the heat of the day, when the crowds thin, the old question hangs in the air around you, unspoken but felt. Who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? You have heard the debate your whole life. It is the air you breathe. It is the reason you are here, at the edge of things. Your mother's voice is your earliest memory, a sound you cling to in the dark. You have built her face in your mind from the softness of her touch, the smell of olive oil on her skin, the melody of her lullabies. But it is a ghost, a guess. You dream of the color of her shawl, the line of her smile, and you wake clutching at emptiness. You know the shape of a tree by the rustle of its leaves, the coolness of its shade. You know the sky by the warmth that leaves your face when a cloud passes. But you do not know blue. You do not know green. These are words without meaning, stories told to a man in a cave. Then the stories change. The whispers at the gate are no longer about you. They are about him. A Nazarene. They say he touched a leper and the scales fell away. They say he spoke a word and a centurion's servant rose from a fever. They say he commanded a storm to be still and it obeyed. The air itself seems charged with a strange new tension, a crackle of possibility. You feel it on your skin. You hear it in the way people pause, lower their voices. Could he be the one? They ask. And you, who have asked for nothing but alms, begin to ask a different question in the quiet of your heart. A dangerous question. The day it happens starts like any other. The same dust, the same heat, the same hollow clink in your cup. Then you hear a group approach, their footsteps purposeful, stopping near you. You sense their attention like a shift in pressure, and then a voice not addressed to you, but about you. A rabbi, a man asks, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? The old question, thrown once more into the light. You brace for the familiar verdict. But the answer that comes is not a judgment. It is a declaration that turns your world on its axis. You hear him say, neither this man nor his parents sinned. This happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. The words hang in the air, incomprehensible. Works of God? In you, the outcast, the cursed? Before you can grasp it, you hear him moving closer. You feel the warmth of his presence. You hear the sound of spitting, the soft pat of hands working the dirt. Then, a cool, damp touch on your eyelids, the grit of mud being smoothed over the place where your eyes should be. His fingers are gentle. His voice is direct. Go, he says, wash in the pool of Siloam. A command, a promise. And you are left sitting there, blind now, not just by nature, but by a layer of earth, with a single, impossible instruction ringing in your ears. You sit there, mud drying on your eyelids, the words, go, wash in the pool of Siloam, echoing in your mind. It is an absurd command. You have never seen the pool, only heard of it. But something in his voice, a certainty, an authority, compels you to move. You rise, your hands outstretched, feeling your way along the familiar path you have traced 1,000 times with your feet. The journey is a blur of sound and sensation. You hear the bustle of the city, the cries of vendors, the distant laughter of children. But all you can think of is the cool mud on your eyes and the promise wrapped in that command. You reach the pool, guided by the sound of water and the smell of damp stone. You kneel at the edge, your heart pounding. You dip your hands into the water, cool and refreshing. You bring them to your face, washing away the mud, and then light, a searing, overwhelming brightness that floods your being. It is pain and wonder all at once. Shapes begin to form. blurred at first, then sharpening. You see the water rippling under your touch. You see your own hands wet and trembling. You see the sky, a blue so vast it takes your breath away. And then, turning, you see him, Jesus, standing there watching you. His face is the first clear image your eyes ever hold. It is kindness. It is peace. It is love made visible. And in that moment, you know, you're not cursed. You are chosen. You return to your neighborhood, seeing it for the first time. The colors are overwhelming, the white of the walls, the green of the vines, the brown of the dust. People stare. They whisper, "Is this the same man who used to sit and beg?" Some say yes, others no. You tell them, "I am the man." And you recount what happened, how Jesus made mud, anointed your eyes, and told you to wash. But the questions come, harsh and accusing. The Pharisees hear of it and summon you. They demand to know how you received your sight. You tell them simply, "He put mud on my eyes. I washed, and I see." They are divided. Some say, "This man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath." Others ask, "How can a sinner perform such signs?" They call your parents, who confirm you were born blind but fear the authorities. So they turn back to you. "Give glory to God," they say. "We know this man is a sinner." You answer with a courage you never knew you had. "Whether he is a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing I do know, I was blind, but now I see." They press you, asking again what he did. You say, "I have told you already, and you did not listen? Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too?" They insult you and cast you out. But Jesus finds you. He asks, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" You say, "Who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" He replies, "You have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." And you believe. You worship him. The man who gave you sight gave you something greater, faith. You saw his face first, and now you see the truth. Darkness was your beginning, but light is your forever. The world is new, every color a miracle, every shape a gift. And at the center of it all, his face remains, the anchor of your sight, the proof that sometimes the first thing you see is everything you need. The whispers did not stop with my healing. They grew louder, sharper, fracturing into arguments in the street. My own neighbors, whose faces I was seeing for the very first time, became a gallery of confusion and doubt. Some pointed, their eyes wide. Others turned away, as if my sight was a trick, a disturbance to the order they knew. And the Pharisees. Their questions were like traps laid in my path. They brought me before them again, their fine robes a blur of color I had no name for, their faces set in stern lines. "Tell the truth," they demanded. "We know this man is a sinner." I looked at them, these men who had always been just voices of judgment, and I saw their fear. My clarity was a threat. So I said it again, the only truth I had that was solid as stone. One thing I know, I was blind, but now I see. When they pressed, I asked if they wanted to be his disciples too. The rage that colored their faces then was a new kind of sight for me, the sight of a heart laid bare. They cast me out, again. But this time, I was cast out seeing. I stood in the street, the sun warm on my skin, watching the dust motes dance in beams of light. I was alone, yet not alone, for he found me, Jesus. He sought me out, the one they had thrown away, and he asked me the question that made all the other questions fade. "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" I did not yet understand the title, but I understood the man standing before me, the first face, the face of my dawn. "Who is he, sir?" I asked, "that I may believe." And he said, "You have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." In that moment, the second, greater healing took place. The light that had flooded my eyes now flooded my soul. I fell to my knees not as a beggar, but as a believer. I worshipped him there in the dust. The man who gave me sight gave me himself. Now I walk through a world reborn. Every leaf is a marvel of intricate green. Every face is a story I can finally read. The sky is not just blue, it is an endless, graceful canvas, but it all traces back to that first image, etched onto my heart, his face. I saw compassion before I knew the shape of a tree. I saw authority before I understood the concept of color. I saw love before I recognized my own mother's smile. They asked who sinned. He showed them what grace looks like. I was the work of God displayed, not in my blindness, but in my seeing. And I will go on seeing forever, from that first and lasting vision of the one who said, "I am the light of the world." Darkness was my cradle, but light is my home, and his face is the door. The dust of the road feels different under my feet now, not just texture, but a color, a pale, gold brown. I walk the same path to the city gate, not to beg, but to see. I go to the very spot where I sat for years, and I look at the stones, truly look. I trace the grooves worn by countless passers-by, and I understand distance, I understand space. People still stop. Some stare, curious, Some ask, is it really you? And I tell them. I tell them of the mud, the water, the light. I tell them of the face. My story becomes my new alms, a gift I can give. I learn the world like a child. My mother, when I finally saw her, I wept. The face I had constructed from sound and touch was both wrong and more beautiful than I'd imagined. The lines around her eyes were a map of sorrow I'd heard but never seen. Her smile was a sunrise. I learned green from the olive tree in our courtyard, red from the pomegranates at the market, silver from the shekels I once only felt. But these are just words again, until I hold them against the memory of his face. Then they have meaning. His compassion is the template for every kindness I see. His authority is the frame for every tree, every mountain that stands firm. The Pharisees did not relent. They spread their own story, that I was never truly blind, that it was a deception. But the truth has legs. It walks with me. When I speak his name, Jesus, it is not just a word. It is the sound of light breaking. I have been asked, was it frightening, that first flood of sight? It was. It was an avalanche of the unknown. But at the center of the storm was a stillness, his gaze. He was my anchor then, and he is my anchor now. I do not just see objects now, I see stories. I see the worry in a farmer's face as he feels the dry soil, and I understand the color of drought. I see the unguarded joy of children chasing a dog through an alley, and I understand the color of freedom. Before, the world spoke to me in whispers and echoes. Now it shouts in a glorious, chaotic symphony of hue and form. And I can listen with my eyes. But in every quiet moment when I close them, the vision returns, not darkness, but the afterglow of that first sight, the shape of grace. So I am a living question to the old debate. No longer who sinned, but what can God do? I was the work displayed. Every glance I take is an act of worship. Every color is a footnote to his glory. I saw him first, so now I see him everywhere. In the face of the stranger who offers a cup of water. In the steadfastness of the hills that surround this city. The light he gave me is more than vision. It is a lens through which all of creation comes into focus. I once knew everything through touch. Now I know this. Some truths are so profound, you don't just believe them, you see them. So I walk through this new world, a living testament. Every step is a prayer of gratitude. The Pharisees may have cast me out, but in doing so, they set me free into a kingdom of light. I am no longer defined by the question of sin, but by the answer of grace. And that answer has a face. I go to the temple now, not to beg at its gates, but to stand within its courts. I see the grandeur of the stone, the flicker of the altar fire, the solemn faces of the priests. And I understand these are shadows. The substance, the true temple, walked up to me on a dusty road. He touched me with earth and spit, the humblest of elements, and made them holy. When I hear the scriptures read, the words about the Messiah opening the eyes of the blind, they are no longer just promises. They are my biography. My days are filled with a quiet revolution. I work with my hands now, learning a trade. The grain of wood under my fingers, the shape of a chair leg coming into form under my tool, these are new miracles. But the greatest miracle remains the constant internal light. Even in the physical darkness of night, I am not afraid. The darkness I knew was absolute, a prison. The night now is simply a soft blanket, a time of rest, because I carry the dawn within me. People still seek me out, not to drop a coin, but to hear the story. Tell us again, they say, their eyes searching mine for proof. And I tell them. I tell them of the moment the mud washed away and the world burst in. I tell them of the face that was waiting. Some believe, some scoff. But I have learned that sight is a gift, but belief is a choice. I choose to bear witness. I think often of his words. I am the light of the world. I did not understand them then. Now I live inside their truth. He didn't just give me light, he is the light. The sun is his metaphor. The glow of a lamp is a reminder. Every color is a fragment of his character. The relentless blue of faithfulness, the fiery red of sacrifice, the gentle green of growth. My eyes were opened to show me that everything points to him. Like they asked, who sinned? He answered with a miracle. They asked for a theological debate. He gave them a healed man. In the end, the only argument that matters is the one I live every day. I was blind. Now I see. Because the first thing I saw was the face of Jesus, I see him everywhere. In the patient eyes of my mother, she watches me learn this world. In the kindness of a stranger, in the resilience of a vine clinging to a wall, the world is not just seen, it is read. And every line speaks of him. So this is my life now. Not as the blind beggar, but as the man who saw. The first sight was the truest sight. Before tree, before sky, before water, I saw love made flesh. And that vision has become the lens for everything. It has redefined every beauty, every joy, every pain. I face the religious experts with a simple testimony, and I face each new dawn with the same one. One thing I know, I was blind, but now I see. And the light that found me in my darkness will never, ever let me go.